Here's Hayward off a screen from Kanter. Flares it back to Ennis. Ennis puts on the floor, stripped by LeBron. Here comes LeBron, crossing over, through the lane. Blocked from behind by Hayward. Gordon just did a LeBron to LeBron. Fast break. Hayward on the other side. He will terminate you one-on-one. Oh, it's worth legends of work right there from Gordon Hayward with a slam dunk. My, oh, my. Hayward turns the corner after being double-teamed, bounces to Booker. He takes it with two hands and rocks you like a hurricane. 82-79. Jazz are going to run Gordon Hayward off a double stagger here and see if he gets it. Alec bounces out to Trevor. Open three right side. Got it! What a play! Out of the inbound. Trevor Booker for three right side with 1.9 seconds on the shot clock. Jazz by 4. Jazz are going to run Gordon Hayward off a double stagger here and see if he gets it. Alec bounces out to Trevor. Open three right side. Got it! What a play! Out of the inbound. Trevor Booker for three right side with 1.9 seconds on the shot clock. Jazz by 4. Ingles fakes one inbound. Finds Hayward. He's got some room. He dribbles right. Steps back from 20 and hits! Gordon Hayward!
Hey,
and they mob him!
And I tell you what, Gail Miller, the owner of the team, is probably covering her head over there to make sure that
nobody can hear a word you said, Ron.
Well, I'll shut up then. And
Gordon Hayward!
And LeBron James loses 5 of his last 6 ball games here in Salt Lake City.
This is Gordon Hayward. Remember, play with the pass. This is Gordon Hayward. We are ready to tip it off. Are you? Let's do this.
Wow. What a night. And we'll talk about on tip-off, plus the NBA 5. Not a lot else to tell you. What a night in Salt Lake City last night. Pow. Hello, I'm David Locke. Welcome. I don't know if I slept. I have no idea. Thanks for tuning in to Tip-Off Early Morning Edition on this Thursday. I'm the radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. An incredible night last night as the Jazz beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James. I'm on like 4 hours. This is like I'm supposed to get sleep. I didn't get any sleep. I'm like, we get the braces off in the house today. There's big stuff going on around here. I got to get this done early. We got son leaves for a ski trip. There's big stuff. They don't care. LeBron hit a game winner. Actually, the daughter cares. Or, excuse me, Gordon hit a game winner over LeBron. See, I'm tired. All right. So this show could suck is what I'm telling you. But last night was so good, you'll never notice. You'll just be happy. Thank you very much for tuning in. What we do is we do this daily podcast every day, regardless of what time it might be when we do it, before the caffeine's kicked in or not. It's really us just hanging out. I'm having a cup of coffee. You're having whatever you're doing each morning, and we're chilling. Last night it was really great at the arena. A lot of people came up and just I've listened to every single one of these. I don't even know when they started. That's what's so funny. Like I know a lot of these shows do like, hey, this is episode number. Like we don't do that because when I started this, it was just a lark. I didn't know if it would last when we do it. First year, I don't think we did it during the summer. Then I went on the RV trip. The next year, and this year we did it every day, pretty much, with minor exceptions along the way. So anyway, this is what we do. Thank you for everybody who came up and said something to me. I appreciate that. It makes it worth it. It makes it on mornings like today when I'm totally delirious and I get up completely 100% worth it. So what a night last night, and we'll dig into that. But first, why don't we do that thing that we like to call the NBA 5 and get that going?
This is Trevor Booker, and you're Locked On Jazz.
NBA 5 is 5 minutes of NBA news to lead off our show. Then we dig deep on the Utah Jazz or NBA-wide topics. The Warriors dismantled the Clippers last night. Steve Kerr and the Warriors look fabulous, and Doc Rivers is pissed. After the game, Doc Rivers says, tonight was great in the aspect I kind of said something's going to happen tonight. It's going to be good or bad for us. We're going to find out exactly what we need to find out. And what we found out is that they are way better than us right now. It's not even, if this was a playoff series, we lose it. It'd be a destruction. From our standpoint, I've got to do a better job. I told the guys that. That's not their fault. I've got to figure out. I've never been, now he loses it. I've never been in a game where a team scores 65 points and we have one foul. That, to the core of me, bothers me to no end. I mean, I've never seen that before. And I think that foul was late, and it was a mistake. It probably wasn't even a foul. For me, I'm doing something wrong because that's as soft as you can probably get in the game. One foul at halftime? Are you beeping kidding me? That's as bad as I've ever seen. Forget what we've got to fix. That over anything tells me we weren't competitive. Woo! There's something crazy going on. The opening week of this NBA season, the Lakers are terrible, but none of the other Western Conference teams are. Minnesota's not terrible. Minnesota had a nice win last night. Sacramento's certainly not terrible, right? I remember when we talked at the beginning of the year, we were talking about, well, you know, how many games we're going to win. Well, who are we better than, right? And I kept saying that we'll slot the Jazz compared to who we're better than. Well, I mean, we're playing pretty well. We're 2-3. We've played the best teams in the league. We look all right. But Minnesota's went to Brooklyn and won. 98-91. Ricky Rubio has been amazing. Rubio last night had 14 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, turned it over 3 times, hit 6 of 11 shots. Andrew Wiggins did what I thought he'd do opening night last night. But he played 38 minutes last night. He had 17 points. He was plus 23. He only went to the free throw line 4 times. That's coming. I mean, he's coming. Then you had Pekovic. Kevin Martin's playing brilliantly. He had 26. Like he and Klay Thompson are the hottest players in the league. And next thing you know, they win 98-91 in Brooklyn. Sacramento was supposed to be terrible. Sacramento is anything but terrible. They're 4-1. They got Denver on a back end of a back-to-back with Denver. They both played both games. They win in Denver, and then they score 40 points in the first quarter against the Nuggets last night. And DeMarcus Cousins, who we've all kind of wondered, when does the screw fall off? What happens if the screw doesn't fall off? That's what they're asking themselves right now in Sacramento, because in 22 minutes last night, before fouling out, he had 30 points and 11 rebounds. He had 30 points and 11 rebounds. And I love what Mike Malone did. They just let him foul out with like 11 minutes left. Play the guy. He gets 6 fouls, he goes out. Then treat him like an injured player and work around it. But trying to save a guy and have him go home with a foul doesn't do anybody any good. Rudy Gay had 29 in that game. And they've got an interesting bench because they've got Reggie Evans, Omer Caspery, Carl Landry, Ramon Sessions. Those are veterans. Those are veteran players. Denver evidently is awful, though. So maybe that's a possibility. But Denver can't be that awful. They got a lot of talent. So the Lakers are awful. We're not awful. It makes the West really fascinating. And the Clippers aren't right. And Oklahoma City's crippled. It's a pretty incredible, wild first week of the NBA season. The Knicks might be terrible, though they came back finally. But they lost at Detroit, so Detroit's got to win some games somewhere, so I wouldn't overstate it. But the only thing that was interesting on the Knicks was the score of that game. The Knicks scored 37 points in the first quarter. They then rallied back, scored 36 in the fourth. Carmelo goes 5 of 21 in that game. We play Detroit coming up here. Really curious to watch them. They started Greg Monroe, Andre Drummond, and Josh Smith again. After all the various things, they've gone back to that lineup. And at least for Carmelo and Amari Stoudemire, it worked. D-League announced 3 rule changes. One, I like the advance rule. The advance rule is that once in the final 2 minutes of the game, you, instead of taking a timeout to make a substitution, you can just call the advance rule. You can substitute your player into the game, and then you take the ball out on the side up front. And instead of meeting as a group and calling a timeout, it's just if you want to get a player into the game. The second rule change that I really, really like, and I think it matches some of the things the league's talking about, is instead of 5 fouls to go in the penalty, what about 6? I mean, there's just too many free throws taken in this game. The free throw is like having a pitcher hit. It's the least exciting part of the game, and there's just too many of them. So can you reduce those to some extent and not have it become a bloodbath along the way? And they also have the coach's challenge. Very curious to see how it works. That's what the whole D-League is for. That, my friends, is the thing we call the NBA 5.
Hey, this is Gordon Hayward. I want to hear from you. Call 801-200-3738 and ask me a question. That's 200-3738 to ask me a question.
Thank you very much, G-Time. Nice job last night. Really excited for Gordon. I do feel like a part of this, I feel like I should just take your questions today. It feels like it should be a heavy interaction show rather than much of anything else after last night. But here's a few quick thoughts, and then I'll get to your questions. We'll see how important this game is. There's a chance it's really, really important. Jeff Hornacek and I were talking about when his team turned the corner, and his answer was that in the 5th game of the year last year, they went to San Antonio, and they battled late, and they lost at the end. And when they lost at the end, his team, even though they lost, walked away realizing, you know what, we're good enough to play with the best guys. Now, Cleveland is a hot mess and may not be one of the best teams in the NBA right now, but if they're projected that way, and they still have LeBron, and they still have Kyrie, who are superhuman in this game, and they still have Love, who wasn't superhuman, and in turn, you look at them for a second, and maybe this win is the one that changes the day, that changes the mindset, that makes these guys believe. And that's what Jeff talked about. It was Wednesday, November 6th. They lost 99-96 to San Antonio. They were down. They kind of blitzed at them in the second quarter to tie it up, and then late in the game, the Suns battled. Tony Parker made a bunch of plays late, and that was the ball game. And but the Suns walked out kind of with this little feeling of, you know what, we're they're better. Jeff Hornacek after that game said the Suns know each other. They've been in these situations in the NBA Finals. They know how to handle it. They know how to be tough and aggressive. When they make cuts, they make cuts. When they're doing that, you cannot float through things. And so they learned from that day. And they may have picked up a little bit. Did the Jazz just do the same last night? Did the Jazz just have their 5th game of the season in which the same thing happens for them that happened for the Phoenix Suns? Maybe. Gordon's really crazy good right now, and he was crazy good all night. And what was interesting to me last night is that Favors and Hayward at different times in the game were the best player on the floor. Kyrie was for a while without ever involving a teammate. By the way, Kyrie after the game said he was not bothered by the no assists. Well, that's going to be healthy. But Gordon was just terrific. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, leads the team in assists again. He's just making plays. He's in control. He's so strong. The chase down block was awesome. It was goaltending LeBron. I'm a huge LeBron fan, but Favors tripped me and LeBron. Something's wrong with him. I tell you, it almost looks like he's got off the court problems. He just is unhappy with his existence right now, or he's just dreadfully missing Miami, that he just can't believe he suddenly lives in Cleveland and he's stuck there. Something's really weird with LeBron right now. But, to watch Gordon, he's in control. He understands the offense. He's coming off spots. He's getting the ball in good places. And the other one is Favors, is just playing in space and learning how to play in space and learning how to make plays. He was terrific last night. I'm not convinced he's not averaging this for the season, guys. Foul trouble is going to prohibit him at times, but right now he's averaging 18 and 8 through 5 games. I think that might be who he is this year. He's shooting 61% from the field, 75% from the free throw. He's going to the line one more time a game than he did all of last year. I think there's a chance this is what Favors does. He's understanding the offense. He's playing in space. The 2-3 year project he and Mark McCowan have been on for his body has come together. His body's virtually perfect. His increase in points per game is tremendous right now, but he's playing down below by himself. I mean, they're spacing the floor with Booker and with Cantor, and it's changing things. Ennis was really good. 11 first quarter points last night. Hit a 3 and then showed the ability to put the ball on the floor and make some plays, which we haven't seen before. And I'll tip a hat to Dante. He's 1 of 5. You look at the stat sheet. He's 1 of 5, but he played 24 minutes. He had 5 assists. He had no turnovers. which I don't mind turnovers on a rookie, but in this case, it shows some growth because he was incredibly turnover prone in everything he's done before. He's probing the lane and getting back out. He's showing remarkable growth when he's doing. The other guy who had everyone played really pretty well. The other guy who had a really good game was Quinn Snyder. Sideline out of bounds to Trevor Booker for 3, game-winning play call. Lot of things went well last night for the Jazz, and the starting lineup continues to be really good offensively. They're not great defensively still, but they're really good offensively with the way they're playing. They're averaged 122 points per 100 possessions last night. They've continued to. That group has been just superb on the offensive end in 13 minutes last night. They put it together. We never got the lineup that I don't think at any point last night that has been so productive for the Jazz, which is the lineup of Trevor Booker in for Enes Kanter. I don't think it ever played at any point in the game last night. You saw Rodney Hood and Trevor coming in together. That kind of seems to be the beginning of that substitution pattern. There's also another subtle one going on right now, by the way. Whenever Joe Ingles is on the floor, our offense seems to hold together a little bit. Not always, depending on the groups, but he's just got a little something subtle to him of his ability to make plays and pass. And if you noticed last night, Quinn Snyder had him come in the game to throw the inbound pass last night. But so far this year, when Ingles is on the floor, the offense is at 121. When he's off the floor, it's a 106. He had to guard LeBron for periods of time last night. So great win last night. Great night. Fans were incredible. My head still hurts. Really just remarkable every which way. Fabulous work by Jazz Nation. All right, let me pop a few questions out. I've got about 8-10 minutes. Currently, the pass-first Spurs style of play is spreading across the league. However, with a team like the Cavs, is that the best approach? Obviously, 6 assists is way too low, but it doesn't seem like they need 26 like the Jazz. Nope, and that's the rub. It's hard to get Kyrie and LeBron and Kevin Love to play a moving passing game where they're going to give the ball a bunch of times in a possession. We're moving the ball an awful lot. And you're not, I don't think you're going to get, I actually just don't think you're going to get them to do that. And that's tough. Dave Blatt may be a really good coach, and he may be the worst coach possible for that team. He seems to be calling a tremendous amount of plays, overriding, almost LeBron looked at me at times last night like he was bothered, like he's looking back like, again, you're calling another play? And I think that could be part of the rub. I'm sort of making that up, but I'm not totally. I mean, that's just what it looked like. So I'll tell you, it's interesting. Last night we threw 442 passes, and they threw 276. We threw 442 passes. They threw 276. We had 26 assists to their 6. More importantly, last night we had 9 hockey assists, 9 secondary assists, passes where somebody makes a pass to somebody else who makes. That's a lot. That's I don't know the average number. I can just tell you that's a tremendously high amount. And then, by the way, I still tell you every night we can look at all these things, and the thing comes down to is who made contested shots, uncontested shots. Hayward looked really emotional after hitting the game winner. Do you think the shot will lead Hayward to have better clutch performance in the future? I don't think his clutch performance has been bad. I know people think it is, but performing in the clutch your numbers go way down. And I think if you look at his lifetime clutch performance, I think it's fine. I will look it up. I have it in my notes, but I think it's faster for me to just go scan here quickly and pull up my numbers and find it for you. He's turned the ball over some. He turned the ball over the other night. That's just, I think, forcing stuff along the way. Maybe I'm going to be wrong here, but last year in the clutch, he shot 46% and shot 39% from 3 in the final 5 minutes of a close game. He performed far better in the final minutes of a close game last year shooting the ball. He had 9 turnovers and 21 assists. Yeah, I think the whole thing on Gordon Hayward being bad in the clutch is a myth, actually. The year before, he shot 46% field goal percentage, 44% from three. His free throw shooting wasn't good 2 years ago. He was 10 to 10 assist to turnover. But no, I don't. So I think the premise of the question, I think Gordon's just acting. If you watch Gordon, he's just sticking his chest out. He's just stronger, bigger, more confident, believes in himself. It's just a different game right now for him. Forrest Scott, do you think this is something wrong with the Cavs or something right with the Jazz? There's something wrong with the Cavs. We'll see over time if something right with the Jazz. We're much better than people thought we were going to be. We're playing exactly like we did in the preseason. Other teams are just playing harder with better players and their main guys, and every now and then we're overwhelmed. I mean, I think we'll be curious to see what Dallas does to us. Though Dallas, older team on the back end of a back-to-back. We've gotten every team at home on a back end of a back-to-back so far. So the schedule's been, nice. So I mean, I think there's something wrong with Cleveland, and I'm not as convinced. I'm not totally convinced to just say, "Hey, no problem, they'll figure it out." Like I'm not so certain on that. I think there's a chance that that's a bad mix. I can't see how their X's and O's wise they're ever going to figure it out defensively. See, the thing about Miami was LeBron needs open space to drive and create as a big to be able to get into space. And so they play Chris Bosh a lot of times at the 5, which then means defensively you have to play an aggressive trapping style because you don't have a rim protector in the game. Bosh was one of the few bigs athletic enough, then with LeBron as the other big athletic, that no matter what your pick and rolls, they could trap it and they could make their rotations frenetically and make it very difficult for you. Cleveland doesn't have personnel that can do that. If they do, it's Anderson Varejao, but now you don't have a big that can space because LeBron can't drive when Anderson Varejao in the game. So it's Kevin Love, but Kevin Love is a terrible defensive player. I mean, just awful. And is pretty disinterested in playing defense. So he's not going to be able to trap and play and rotate the same way, nor do Cleveland have the personnel defensively to do that. Kyrie isn't going to rotate the way Mario Chalmers did, and Sean Marion's not moving the way, whomever did on that team. So I can't see, at least in that model, if you believe the model that for LeBron to be successful, he's got to play with a stretched out big beside him so that he can create lanes, pass, and do everything for you, then I'm not sure. Then I don't see how that's going to work. That's the key to the whole thing. And then Love, really Kyrie and LeBron become drivers the way Wade and LeBron were all the time. You're not playing a moving passing game. You're just playing a drive and kick game and create like Spoelstra did. And, Love then becomes kind of a stretch piece. We'll see whether he likes that or not. He doesn't get a lot of touches. And defensively, they're a disaster with that lineup because then they're playing Kyrie, they're playing Kyrie, Dion Waiters, Sean Marion, LeBron James, or Mike Miller, LeBron James, and Kevin Love. Well, maybe really they're going to be. I think that's what they have to do. And then they got to beat. Then they're really the old Phoenix Suns. They're just going to outscore you, and they might be able to do that every night. But that's the match. But they don't have a way, and maybe zone defensively. But Tristan Thompson and Anderson Varejao, I don't know how they fit. Gaines, Millsap, now Hayward have beat LeBron teams in the clutch with long jumpers on the right side. I know it's probably just coincidence, but is there a connection? Is how 3 different teams? No connection. Just coincidence. Just awesomeness. Just fabulous. There's also, isn't Devin Harris hit a runner in the lane? Was it Devin Harris or Mo Williams hit the runner in the lane over Dwayne Wade? You say there's something wrong with the Cavs. Shouldn't be saying the same thing about the Clippers on paper. They should be top 3 in the league, but I opened the. Maybe you just joined in, Aaron. I opened the show. And I thought there was something wrong with the Clippers when we saw them. It's funny, we're playing these great teams, but they're not quite right. The Clippers are better than Cleveland. They've played together enough that they can play and they can win some basketball games. Cleveland should be 0-4. I mean, they go to Denver. If they don't beat Denver, Denver's awful right now. They're not even playing well, right? We're not particularly talented. We're playing well. Then it'll be interesting to see how that plays. But that's Yeah, and I don't know if remember if we go back to the Miami days, LeBron makes an early run at Eric Spoelstra to get him booted, and Pat Riley says, "No go, dude." Dan Gilbert's not telling LeBron no on anything. LeBron owns Dan Gilbert right now. So when LeBron makes a run at David Blatt, it's over. And I think it might be. It's early to say that, but just watching body language, watching going on last night, LeBron's looking over the bench all the time for plays. He doesn't want to do that. The other one, by the way, LeBron's explosiveness doesn't look right to me. Huge night for the Jazz. They'll go back to work today, and we play Dallas tomorrow. Blah! Right back at it. Can't we have a week to celebrate this like the NFL? Amazing night. Great night for Jazz Nation. Super fun. Guys played well. We'll break it down a little bit more detail tomorrow. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Be safe. Go Jazz.